These 5 budget-friendly tools have exploded in popularity here in 2025. Some of these you've probably never heard of, and some you just wish would come back in stock, and I have the inside scoop. Let's go. If you'd like to check out any of these tools you see today, I'll link them in the description and that pinned comment to help you find them easier. Let's talk about this number 1 tool. First on the list are these budget-friendly parallel clamps like you've never seen before, especially at this price. Now, Mike Taylor, longtime friend of the channel, sent these over for me to review, and I'm glad he did because I'm seriously impressed with what you get for this price point. And that's where these are going to outdo most anything you're going to see in parallel clamps on the price. But they're also very capable, and you get a lot for your money here. First and foremost, these are either light duty or medium duty parallel clamps. I wasn't aware that this was a thing, like you could buy lighter duty versus heavy duty. Now, if you compare these in price to some of the more popular brands, like the Bessie at about $50 or the Jet at about $80 each, these Tay-Tool parallel clamps are quite a steal. But there is a little bit of a difference here in what you're getting. Now we'll talk about the light duty clamps first. Now these are absolutely parallel clamps, so you get that 90-degree jaw. And one thing that I find very interesting here is the handle itself. Now, if you watch the channel, you know that Jorgensen makes some of my favorite F-style or bar-style clamps. And I absolutely love the handles that come on these, and these look like they come out of the same factory. So they are very, very similar to those. If not exactly the same, you can tell me if there's any difference other than the label there. They feel and look the same. They're just really nice handles on these lighter duty clamps. They also have the textured bar so that this clamp doesn't fall down on your hands. That has been an issue with some of the other brand parallel clamps that I've reviewed before. I hate that when this jaw falls and hits your hand. It's just a pain. For real. Now the jaws on these are steel reinforced and they have a nylon cover to prevent marring and things like that. Now where these differ from the Bessie and the Jet are, one, price, but also these are light duty. So lighter pressure clamps. So 330 pounds of clamping pressure, plenty for gluing up small panels and small projects or casework, cabinets, things like that, boxes, that sort of thing. These are going to be perfect for that. And you can buy these in a kit and get all 8 of these for just over $100 at the time of this filming. Now you do get 3 1/8 inches of clamping depth here in these jaws, and the jaw can be removed and flipped around so you can make these spreader clamps. For the price these are, I think this is a very good value, especially on these light duty clamps. You can also pick up this medium duty set, and this kit actually comes with some accessories that are very, very handy, which we'll talk about. But the clamp itself, again, the jaw will not fall and crash into your hand. These are a little more robust than that light duty, and they're very similar as far as the bar goes to what you would see on the Bessie. You see the Bessie here on top, the medium duty on the bottom. Very, very similar bar on these. Now you do get the steel reinforced jaw, very much like the light duty, but it's a little bit beefier here. It just depends on the task you're looking for. You do get 1 full inch of travel here with this screw. This clamp can also be reversed. You can take off this stop, reverse the head, and use it as a spreader as well. These clamps have 880 pounds of pressure, should be adequate for most of your glue ups. And the price point on these are very good as well. These are $25 a piece if you buy them individually versus the $50-ish on the Bessie. Now this is where the magic happens. If you decide to go with the kit on the medium duty clamps, what you're going to get are 4 clamping bridges. If you've ever made panels, you know when you start applying pressure, sometimes it wants to buck up or try to move on you on the ends of these boards. So a lot of people use cauls to fix that, but these new clamping bridges are the way to go. If you just set one on the top, one on the bottom, and then you pair that with your light duty clamps, then you're able to get a perfectly flat panel when you glue up. Now when we put these 2 boards in there, applied a little glue with the medium duty clamps, you see ample squeeze out. There is a lot of misconception, especially with beginners, that you need to just crank down on these clamps and get a maximum pressure possible to get that glue to adhere, these boards to stick together and not have any issues. That's not true. All you need is a light pressure until the glue comes out. When those joints come together and the glue squeezes out, you're done. There's no reason to over clamp these or over pressurize that joint. It's just, you're not doing anything. You're just applying too much pressure. You could also cause some bowing and things like that in that joint if you try to apply too much. That's why these medium duty clamps are perfect for most of your glue ups, like cutting boards or panels, tabletops, that sort of thing. You don't need maximum pressure there. And then the light duty clamps are perfect for things like this, or just holding stuff in place while you get it screwed and glued. But when you combine both of these kits together, I think that's where it's going to shine for most people in the shop, because you can get a lot of clamps with a lot of these accessories for a very low price. Really, for about the same price as you can get 4 Bessie Revo clamps in a kit at about $225 on retail, you can pick up all of these clamps with this kit, with those other blocks that I'm fixing to show you, all for around the same price. And you're getting way more clamps and a whole lot more capabilities for your shop. That's why I think these budget clamps will be taking over in 2025. Now, taking this sample panel out of the clamps, you can see there is no seam there, because if you clamp them up right and you have the proper jointing on the edge, which if you don't know how to join a board, I'll drop a link in the description on how to do that. You can see there's no gap. You think that's actually just a mark down the wood. The actual seam is just above that right there. If you look close enough, you'll see it. Perfectly flat, perfectly glued up with these clamps. Again, don't need a ton of pressure here. The handle on the medium duty parallel clamp slightly differs from that from the light duty. It has a more smooth, but still, it's almost oblong feeling, so you still get that really good grip on there. It actually is an oblong or an egg shape, so you get a really good grip on there, so you can tighten that down as needed. The jaws are very, very nice as well. I think it's one of the better options for clamps, especially at this price point if you're looking for some parallel clamps. But this kit comes with some cool accessories that I think a lot of people could use in their shop. You can also pick up just the joint bridges for $8 for a 4-pack at the time of this filming. So they're very budget friendly. If you wanted to add an extra set of these or just pick these up separately from the clamps, you could do that. Now, the medium duty kit, while also coming with the 4 clamps and the bridges, you also get these corner blocks. So if you wanted to set up a square glue up, you could do that. There are also other kits available, including heavy-duty parallel clamps, but I think if you could budget the light-duty kit with this medium-duty kit, you'll have the perfect setup, especially if you're a beginner trying to get some clamps, or you just want to add some more clamps and options to your shop. This might be a great option for you. Check the link in the description for all these. Next up, one of the most budget-friendly and most popular tape measures I've ever shown on the channel, is still extremely popular here in 2025, is the Fast Cap Lefty Righty. You guys love this tape measure, and so do I. Let me show you why. First and foremost, the design of this tape measure is absolutely genius, and the price is right there genius too. It's less than $10. Less than $10 for this tape measure, and it's one of the best tape measures you can buy in my opinion. First and foremost, really nice springy belt clip so you can hook it on your belt or in your pocket or anything like that. I like how the blade is recessed, and so that when you drop it, because we drop tape measures, at least it has much less of a chance of damaging the end of that blade, causing inaccuracies. It also has a little button there on the bottom, and what that does is stop the tape measure. So when you push it out, if you push the button, it'll keep it from rolling in. Of course, it has a lock like every other tape measure. It has a place you can write measurements or anything else on the face as well. It also has a pencil sharpener built into the back, and it's a nice rubberized coating, so if you do drop it, shouldn't have any issues. But the star of the show on this tape measure is the blade itself. It is a lefty-righty, meaning no matter which way you turn it, you're going to be able to see your numbers on either side. Also, if you look closely at the blade, you can see it has increments spelled out on there. The 1 is 1/16, the 3 is 3/16, but also you get the 1/8, the quarter, 5/16, 3/8, all the way to 15/16 on every inch. And this is where this tape measure shines, because if you're new to woodworking, or if you just don't remember what each little mark is, this spells it out for you. And even if you are familiar with it, it lessens the likelihood that you're going to make a mistake, because it's just easier to remember versus the 3/8 mark for some people. I love this tape measure, and so do many, many others. This is one of the most popular things we've shown on the channel ever. Now let's talk about budget table saws. If you're a beginner, or if you're on a budget and you want a table saw for your shop, I've got 3 options for you here that are absolutely amazing, and they're extremely popular in 2025. First and foremost, let's talk about one of my favorites that I've recently reviewed, the Evolution table saw. This is a 10-inch table saw with a ton of features for $400, $399 actually. While it may not be the cheapest table saw I'm fixing to talk about, it does have the most features. It's absolutely genius on the stuff they've packed into this thing. First and foremost, it has a sliding table built in. So you don't have to have miter gauges. There's already one built in, or even a crosscut sled, because all you have to do is unlock it and use it to slide. It's absolutely awesome, and I haven't seen that on any other table saw under $1,500, because Festool makes one. It's a cordless version that does have a sliding, but it is about $1,500. This one's $400, and it has plenty of power to cut through anything you're going to be using it for, hardwoods, softwoods, anything like that. It does come with a multi-material blade. I do recommend picking up a different blade for woodworking if that's what you're going to be using it for, which most of you are. I've got some recommendations I'll drop in the description, but Evolution also sells a woodworking specific blade if you want to get theirs. This saw also features an outfeed support, and this is huge, especially for job site style saws, to be able to support that material on the back side of the saw to keep it from falling off. Now, I've shown some other accessories on the channel before to help with that. The bow extender fence. I also made some jigs to help with that, but this one has it built in, and that is absolutely massive. There are some saws on the market that have this, but very, very few, especially in this price range. And if you're cutting a lot of lumber by yourself, you don't want the wood falling off the backside because you have a tendency to reach over and try to grab it, and that can be dangerous. So I'm glad they included that with this saw. Now, a couple of things I've learned about the Evolution table saw since I showed it in the video a few weeks ago. Number one, it sold out very fast, which I knew it would. The outlaw effect was in full force. I even told you that it was going to be, just because of all the features packed in. When will it be back in stock is the question that I keep getting asked. I'm hearing June of 2025. So if you want one, you're gonna have to be patient with this one. But there's also more information that I've learned about this saw that I wasn't aware of in the beginning. They do sell an upgraded zero clearance throat plate for this saw. One of my minor quips with this saw was the throat plate had a little bit of flex in it, but Evolution does sell a throat plate that is reinforced. That's a zero clearance, so you wouldn't have any of those flexion issues. Next, for the budget level table saws, I've got two more here for you. First and foremost, the Skill. I think it's a fantastic value. It's usually $299 or less, so it's $100 less than the Evolution, and it comes with the stand that folds out. So if you're working in a small space and you don't want to have to spend the extra on a stand, this one comes included. This saw is extremely impressive, and since I first reviewed this table saw, they have upgraded the throat plate on it as well. It also has a little bit of flexion issue, but now that is gone because they have a much better, beefier throat plate in there. I think this is one of the best table saws under $300, bar none. It is a fantastic saw, has plenty of power, has everything you're gonna want in a table saw. That rack and pinion fence is just extremely adjustable, has plenty of rip capacity. It's just one of the best values and one of the most popular still in 2025. Now, I can't talk about budget level table saws without talking about the Hercules. I was seriously impressed by this because a couple of years ago, I went into a Harbor Freight and I looked at their table saw and I immediately dismissed it as not very good because of that fence. I hated the way they had that fence on there. Those style fences I just dislike greatly, vehemently. I don't like them. But they did upgrade it after I had looked at it like a year later or a few months later. And now it has the rack and pinion fence, and it's just an all-around great table saw. I reviewed this on the channel not that long ago and was extremely impressed by the power, by that fence, because it does have that rack and pinion fence. All three of these saws I mentioned today do have that rack and pinion. And of course, it does have plenty of power to cut through anything you're going to want, and it's extremely accurate. This one does not have a stand, but I think you can buy a stand separately if you needed it to, but for a compact style saw at this price point, I think it's a great value if you like Hercules or Harbor Freight brand tools. Next on the list, if you upgrade your table saw on a budget, you got to check out the Vevor miter gauge. Now, I showed this in a video a while back, and of course, outlaw effect again, it sold out very fast. It should be coming back in stock any day now because it's been about 3 months. And typically lead time on these are 3 to 5 months when you see tools sell out, especially if they all sell out really fast. It takes the manufacturer about 3 to 5 months to get these things back in stock. So we should be seeing these coming back in stock anytime soon. Now, one of the great things about this miter gauge that I liked was the extendable fence and the micro adjustable stop block. I think this is one of the best values. I think it was right under $70 for this miter gauge. And if you don't know, that's a very, very good value because one of my other favorite miter gauges, the Inker V27, is about $85-ish and you don't get the fence. This one has the fence built in and it's extremely accurate, and it does have positive stops all the way around to 67, almost 70 degrees, or all the way to 70 degrees each way, so you can cut those miters. And again, it does have the flip down stop and that micro adjustable stop block, which is huge for dialing in your cuts to be exactly where you need them to be. This is one of the best value miter gauges on the market, bar none. There's some knockoffs out there as well. if Vevor can have a knockoff, there's some knockoffs out there as well. So I'll link to those that look almost identical to this as well. And then of course you can't dismiss Bauer. Bauer come out with their own miter gauge. Mine had a slight issue where when you locked it at 0, it wasn't perfectly 90. However, on that review video, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of comments saying theirs was exactly 90 degrees. So maybe mine was just a fluke, but this is a very good value at about $35, $40. I think they raised the price after that video. I think it's $35 or $40 on that miter gauge. Even if it's $45, that's still a very good value because even with my minor issue, I was able to get 90-degree cuts, perfect 90-degree cuts every single time with that miter gauge. So if you're looking to upgrade your table saw on a budget, these are the two options I would tell you to pick, Vevor or the Bauer. I think the Vevor is slightly better because it does have that micro adjustable. I didn't have any issues as far as accuracy goes or anything like that. It's just a very good, well-made miter gauge. Let's talk about budget hand tools, specifically layout tools for woodworking. Are some of the hottest in 2025, of course, were Wind. Wind hand tools come on the scene late last year and again, sold out very fast because they were so nice. The price was nice. And that's one of the reasons that really drove those things to sell so fast and why they're still so popular, because every time they come in stock, they go out of stock pretty quickly because of how extremely accurate they are, and they're very budget friendly. I think these are some of the best hand tools that you can buy at this price point, but there's also another option out there. So we know woodpeckers hand tools are very expensive. They're made in the USA, high quality, high accuracy. I absolutely love woodpeckers tools. I have some hanging right here I use all the time. I have a drawer full of them right here that I use all the time. I think they're really well made tools, but they are extremely pricey, and not everybody either wants to spend that much on these tools or even can spend that much on these tools. And that's why I'm glad we have good alternatives like these from iGaging. Now, there's several options here, whether you're looking for a layout square or these bench squares like this. You can get aluminum or you can get these stainless steel versions. The stainless are a little more pricey than the aluminum versions, but I think these are some of the best as far as comparable to woodpeckers. I think these are some of the best squares that you can buy for your shop at a much lower price than what you would spend on woodpeckers tools. It just depends on your budget, whether you wanted to go with Wind or the iGaging. I don't think you could go wrong with either one of these, but for budget hand tools, these are absolutely exploding in 2025 because of the value that you get, which is why they're very hard to find in stock anywhere. If you like this video, you gotta check out the 20 hottest tools on Amazon in 2024 because they're still hot. Click in that box, get you the big old virtual fist bump.